I'm the sports professor, Rick Horrow. Welcome to Beyond the Scoreboard, Inside the Mega Events. It's a trillion-dollar sports business, to be sure, and about 50 to 60% of those dollars are wrapped up in the mega events, the championships, Super Bowls, All-Star Games, World Series, Wimbledon, tennis majors, golf majors, NASCAR championships, IndyCar championships, Ryder Cup. All of those too numerous to mention. I'm in my office to kick off the show, but I'm not here a lot. I'll be on the road on a weekly basis to bring you the inside tips from those major events. The balance sheets, who wins, who loses, the interviews, how you put on the events, and how you sustain them. This is all brought to you by Edelman Financial.
Money doesn't come with instructions. That's why we created Edelman Financial Services to help you with everything from college and retirement planning to managing your investments, helping you achieve retirement security. We're among the nation's top financial advisors. Come see how we can help you.
Sports Professor Rick Horrow, Beyond the Scoreboard. We are at a very unique property, 27th year of this event. It's the Delray Beach Open, Delray Beach Tennis Tournament. It is a classic example. I'm not sure that Mark Barron, the tournament director, we'll hear from in a minute, wants me to refer to this as the little engine that could, but it certainly has survived during any number of economic differences in tennis. South Florida has been a home of a major tennis tournament that's now going to the home of the Miami Dolphins. The tennis industry, broadly defined, undergoing a lot of different governances issues, Tennis Channel, Sinclair, national, international, whole bunch of issues, but you don't want to hear me talk about that. Mark Barron, the king of South Florida tennis today. How's that for an intro?
Very good. Very well said.
Thank you. King, capital K. He's actually tournament director, and this is your, and it's, we've been through this before, 27th year, right?
Yes, it is.
So brainchild of starting this, and how'd you pull it off, and give me the founding history.
Oh, found the history, making it really short.
Yeah, well, tell the story.
I retired
Yeah.
at 39. I worked hard my whole life, every day, and 3 days later, after retiring, I went crazy, and I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And before that, for 10 years, I was working with the Florida Tennis Association, basically heading up junior tennis in the state.
Yeah.
My kids, two sons, Ivan and Adam, one went to college on a scholarship. The other one went professional, and at that point in time, I decided I liked tennis, since I ran it for 10 years as a volunteer. Russia collapsed. The event that they owned in Russia got taken back by the ATP. They put it out for bid. We got it. That's how we started the whole thing.
That is a great summary. Define we for a minute. Did you do it alone? Did you go to the city of Delray Beach? Did you find corporate partners? How do you cut the deal from a business perspective?
Well, getting the event was the number one thing.
Right.
Excuse me. It went out for bid. On the board was Fred Stolle, one of the board members
Sure.
at ATP. And Fred was a friend of mine, and I said, Fred, I need your help. Quit the board, politic for me, and I'll give you 15% of the company, which was really 15% of nothing.
Right.
Because we had nothing.
Right.
P.S., we got it. We started off by having it in Coral Springs. In the swamps, there was nothing there. They built the entire site. We were there for 6 years. We decided we needed to go east. That's where the public is. That's where the ocean is. Kind of worked out very well, and we put it out for bid, and Delray Beach ended up winning us. We moved here. Excuse me. We moved here 21 years ago. We've been here for 21 years, and now we have dreams. Dreams, and I can mention this. Our goal is to have a new stadium with a retractable roof and get into the concert business. That's our future.
That's a pretty significant dream. We'll return to that dream because that's not easy to do anywhere, let alone South Florida, but we'll talk about that in a second. So creating an event is a wonderful thing. Sustaining an event has to be that much harder too. So talk about your partnership with the city of Delray Beach.
Well, we came to Delray Beach.
Time out.
Time out. We'll edit, don't worry.
Yeah, we'll edit it. Just want to make sure. That's perfect. Let me do it again. Delray Beach. So the partnership with Delray Beach, talk about the how it's come to where it is.
Well, when we put it out for bid and Delray Beach won it, we were here for 4 years. And the city basically has a business development, business park area, and they hoped it would build up, and it didn't. So there was really not corporate backing in the area. And after 4 years, we decided we needed to leave to a bigger city. And at that time, the city stepped up and decided to be co-title sponsor. Financially, that helped, enabled us to build the tournament every year. And as you can see, the tournament gets bigger and bigger every year, and it's worked.
And the stadium is part of that too, obviously.
That's our future goal here.
Right.
We're hoping to have it here in Delray Beach. It would work out perfect, and we're right now talking with the commission, state, local governments, and I think it would be unbelievable, especially for the economic impact, the marketing valuation that we bring the city. We also run, under my other company, Players International Management, we run 39 junior events from April through October, which just brings heads and beds,
Yeah, of course it does.
and additional economic impact during the time when it's slower. So we really have a full package for everybody.
I remember in my early South Florida, Miami days, and this is not relevant to anything, but I remember the Easter Bowl and how significant that was with the Orange Bowl Committee backing it, meaning tourism and economic development in Miami, and one would just hope that Delray Beach follows that cue a little bit.
Well, it's funny. We now have the 16th and 18th Easter Bowl.
Interesting.
So we have the 16 18 National Clay Court Championships. We have the 12 National Clay Court Championships. We have ITF National Championship, International Championship. All our 39 events are all major events, and the city of Delray Beach gets behind those as well, because the hotel people, the restaurants, the businesses, they love it.
So, Mark Barron, what is life like below the Grand Slams? Is it a constant battle for survival? Are you comfortable in your business niche? Obviously, listening to your plans, you're never comfortable, you're never satisfied. That's part of the value of an entrepreneur. But how is it to operate in the space that you're operating in today?
Meaning a 250 event. Is really
Yeah, a
what you're
250
asking.
event, right.
Well, we're 250, then there's the 500s.
Right.
We are content, happy as a 250, and I mean this seriously. We like being a 250 event. It works perfect for us. It's what we can handle. We go out and get players. With that, players know us. They know the family, the Barron family, and it's worked out perfect. So there's been no qualm as far as being that 250 scenario. For us, and you can look around at the other 500s, our draws are probably in the top 50% of all the 500s in the world. We get the players. Players like coming to Delray Beach in February. I mean, you know how cold it is in Europe.
Sure.
So it's really worked out very well for us.
And you also have the interesting, shameless plug, but the first weekend, it's an interesting for the, are they called seniors?
No, called champions.
They're called champions, just like the golf tour. It's interesting.
Exactly.
Team Americas versus Team World. We've got Tim Henman and John Michael Gamble and Gonzalez and Ferreira. But it's the champion whose names are immediately recognizable as well. Do they want to play because of the prize money? Do they want to play because they're regaining lost youth? Or is it a combination of all of that?
Well, it's funny. My son and I personally know almost every one of the champions.
Right.
So when we ask them to play, they really jump on it. Most of them come from Europe. Again, they love coming to Delray Beach.
Yeah.
It's February. The crowd enjoys it. It's a different type of crowd. It's more relaxing, more fun, like anything else in the seniors, Champions Tour, that is. And it's worked out really well. It's a great opening to a World Tour event versus just starting Saturday and Sunday with qualifying and boom.
Right.
So it works out well.
Yeah, and it fits demographically too. It's not the 70-year-olds, but certainly people in Delray will remember some of the names of the champions. Let's put it that way.
Exactly.
So the other piece I wanted to discuss was the nature of the tennis industry generally, not just the majors versus the 250s, but the governing structure. If you had a magic wand, you don't, but if you had a magic wand relative to the ATP, the WTA, the entire structure, what's the one change you would make?
It's funny. I'm very close with Mark Young and excuse me, you're going to edit this one. I just forgot his name. The CEO of the tour. Okay.
The currency, no.
And the current CEO of the tour.
Right.
I get involved with it. I hear it. I kind of know what's going on. And I can't say there's anything as far as ATP I want to change. The big thing that I wanted, and it kind of worked out, is a big start for the tour. And now we have that with the big event in Australia,
Right.
the $15 million prize money event, which will kick off the tour really great. And being a little selfish, it really helps us because we're in February right after it. So it gets tennis awareness really in a lump. And you have to understand, The day I started this event 27 years ago, the Sports Illustrated front page said, "Is tennis dead?"
Mm-hmm.
That's how I started. So it's been uphill ever since. And right now, as far as I'm concerned, it's been phenomenal compared to how I started this 27 years ago.
And how do you feel about the 500 event down the road that was at Key Biscayne for so long? Now it's a event that's part of the whole Miami Dolphin experience at Hard Rock. Compatible, synergistic, competitive? What's your take on that?
Well, they're a 1,000 event, first of all.
Right.
Just
Sorry.
to correct you.
I'm half wrong. Sorry, Garfinkel. Sorry, Steve Ross. I apologize. 1,000 event. Sorry.
We are actually working co-marketing with them.
Yeah, good.
They're marketing us. We're marketing them. I wish them all the best. They're a great event. It's the first year at the Dolphin Stadium. I hope it does well. I really do. And again, big tournaments make people aware and builds tennis.
Yeah. And the other piece of this too is that I assume you have a personal stake in making sure that all of the events, the Indian Wells, even the one that used to be Pilot Pen that's now over in China, I assume tennis in one area that's good lifts all boats everywhere.
It's true. I mean, you can see it right away in golf or in tennis. When the majors happen, like the U.S. Open, tennis gets really big. Wimbledon, tennis gets really big. Same in golf when they have it in Atlanta. The Masters grows tremendously. So, yeah, we all work with each other. We want everyone to do well. So,
biggest challenge as far as waking up every morning, let's say middle of the week, and you look at tennis, weather you can't control, but how do you define success each of the 27 years? I know attendance is an issue, corporate participation is an issue, the public sector happy, the awareness stats. Is there any one issue that's more important than another, or are those basically the issues?
You just said it. That's exactly it. I mean, every phase has to be good, and that's what we work at. Sponsors, the public, the players. There's not one particular thing that we gear for. We gear for all of it.
Yeah. And let's talk about the players for a minute. Just there's an understanding that the tennis industry is spending a little bit more time promoting the superstardom of the rising players. They're doing a good job as corporations themselves doing it, and obviously people like Serena need no governing body to promote it. Nike and others will do it themselves. But what do you think the role of the player is relative to a tournament or governing body? Should you guys be kind of synergistic partners, or are they just out there on the court to advance as far as they should? Is it, or is kind of an interrelationship there?
It is totally an interrelationship. On the board, there are 3 ATP Tour tournament members, and there are 3 ATP player members. We work together. We want to market them. They want to market us, because if they're big, it helps our tournaments. I mean, look at Tiger Woods. That tells you right there. So it really works for both of us to help each one.
James Blake was the first time I spent a lot of time interviewing him. By the way, a little story was right here, and now he's running the 1,000 event at Dolphin Stadium, getting it right too. So where is the tournament and the industry 5 years from now?
Oh, 5 years from now. That's what I do. I do 5-year plans.
Good.
Everything I do is advance.
And so this is an easy question for you.
Yeah, it's totally easy. We hope to have a new stadium up and running in about 3 years. With the new stadium, we'll increase our strength and draw, because players love playing in new stadiums. With the retractable roof and getting into concerts, all these tens of thousands of people that have never come to this site because they're not tennis fans are going to come here, and they're going to go, oh my gosh, there's a tournament here. And they're going to see signs and players' pictures, and there'll be videos going around to people that have no interest for tennis whatsoever, and we will start drawing them in as well. That's our goal.
And certainly attempting to satisfy it. Nobody's going to put it past you to actually do. Final question relative to tennis and entertainment. I know you want this to be a concert facility, or a new stadium to be a concert facility. The whole notion of tennis as an entertainment venue for the 10 days or the week, with concerts and food and concessions, and you maximize an event to be an entertainment experience, not just a tennis tournament.
Yes, and as far as we don't do concerts during the tournament, we do have bands every day playing. The concerts will be during the year, not during the tournament. But on site, we have everything going. You have to in today's world. You have to make it exciting for all different phases of people. You need the bands going, you need the games going, you need the giveaways. It just makes it what it is. It can't be a one experience. It's got to be a multi-level.
You get a freebie. You get to talk about the Barron family. Go, talk about it.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
Barron family. Barron family.
Talk about Ivan. Talk about the kids.
I got 3 sons. I got 5 grandsons. 3 of them are 7. 3
Wow.
7-year-old grandsons.
There you go.
I have a granddaughter. She's my eldest, my only granddaughter, so she's my favorite granddaughter.
Of course.
Our goal, long term, my sons, getting my 3rd one here, and eventually all 3 will be running the tournament. I'll kind of slowly fade into the distance, and eventually my grandsons and granddaughter will be running the tournament. It's a perfect scenario. My sons have been involved in tennis their whole life, like you said. My middle son was a number 2 junior in America, and my oldest son was a number 1 in the world, went pro. They're involved in tennis. We live it, we breathe it, we love it. We love the corporate involvement in it. We love the spectators involved. I mean, the average tournament's over 100 years old today. We're 27 years. We see way down. I mean, my grandsons, my youngest one, which is David, the guy who I hope to handle the entertainment world, his son is going to be 2. So look at him being 60. That's 58 years right from now, planning.
You know, the interesting thing about Mark Barron is you need to be a little bit more intense and have more energy in what you do. Mark Barron, tournament director of this event. It's incredible and important to understand in a final analysis that tennis industry, like anything else, you need a significant, intense, visionary group of people who are committed to bringing an event to a community, notwithstanding all of the pressures it takes to put it on, hopefully develop a permanent venue with which to grow the sport as well, and then put it on a level that nobody could have contemplated 30 years before, as this case will be. Mark Barron, certainly that. And as we get into the tennis season in the United States, it's really important for everybody to understand what's at stake and who's doing it. Rick Horrow, sports professor. See you next week.